Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and welcome to one of my investing videos. Today we're going to do a complete fix and flip before and after video from a property I bought and sold a little while back. But the reason we're doing this one is it was my most profitable flip ever, my riskiest flip ever, and a really crazy story. So I'm going to go over how we made about $120,000 on this flip, why nobody else wanted it, why it was so risky, and what all we did to it. And it actually wasn't a crazy rehab, it was the backstory and the actual tenant in the property that was the crazy story. So we bought it for $535,000. It was a foreclosure. I think we sold it for $802,000, which left us $266,000 in gross profit. But with all the costs, the time we held it, all the different things that went into it, we had about $147,000 in costs, and only $30,000 of those were actual repairs. So I'll go through all those numbers in the end too, and show you this whole video, the whole property. It's kind of a cool story, so stay tuned. And of course, check out investformore.com for more information on my flips. We have a list of all my flips at investformore.com/flips. This shows all the properties we're working on. We have 15 going right now, so those keep us busy. All right, so we'll start right now talking about what this property was like when it first came up for sale. Here's the house on Zillow. I do not have the old MLS or auction site information because it's gone now, but it was on Hubzu, which is a site that sells a lot of foreclosures. They do online auctions, and I can show you a little bit of it. This is when we sold it. But if we go down here, we can see the price and tax history. And right here, or actually right here is when it sold as a foreclosure. So went into foreclosure, then was listed by Hubzu for $779, $740, $703, kept dropping, kept dropping, kept dropping. Now this house was never sold, even though we sold it for much more than this, because it had a tenant in place. So Hubzu sells some of their properties sight unseen. You can't go see inside of it. That was one of these properties. The house was very nice from the outside, but the tenant claimed to have a 10-year lease and was not willing to move, so she was scaring away every other buyer. Apparently, I did not get the memo, so I decided this would be a great property to buy, and we ended up bidding on it, got it under contract for right around $500,000, then with a buyer's premium, ended up being $535,000, $339,000. I knew I had some time to get my earnest money to Hubzu, and that's when I went and talked to the lady, try to figure out if it's a good idea to proceed with this property or not. And we talked to her. She was super nice. I could kind of see in the house, it looked like it was in really good shape. These pictures are just after we fixed it up, but we really didn't do too much at all. We put paint, carpet in, not even all paint, just a little bit of paint. And so the house was in great shape. The problem was she didn't want to leave. There's a 10-year lease in place, and that had scared everybody else off. And everybody I talked to pretty much told me I was crazy to want to buy this house because I was just asking for trouble. However, we bought it anyway. And eventually, what we ended up doing, there was just craziness going on. She threatened harassment, all kinds of stuff. But I hired a lawyer to represent her because she claimed not to have any money. We worked out a deal, and we paid her $20,000 to leave about 6 months after we bought the property. So she paid rent, which was $2,200 a month, way below market rent. For that time, we paid her $20,000. She moved out. I don't ever think the lease was valid. I think it was made to try and kind of allow her to stay there after the foreclosure. It was actually made with her uncle. Her husband actually was in prison for securities fraud, from what we could tell. We looked up some articles, and he was defrauding seniors of money. And so there's a lot of red flags on why other people weren't buying it. And that's why we were able to get it so cheap, but also came with a lot of risk because we knew kind of the type of person we were dealing with. But we worked through all of it, ended up getting a cash for keys agreement signed, paid for a lawyer to help represent her. She moved out. We took possession of the property, and then we were able to move forward. And this is what the property looks like after she moved out. Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. I'm standing outside a fix and flip I bought last year. This is a little different than most of my flips. bought this house for $535,000, and we had to get a tenant out, so that's why it's taken 7 months or so to get possession of the home. But this is a really great house. Pretty excited to show you guys what this one looks like. Bought for $535,000, ARVs 800 to 850. Needs very little work, so we'll see what it looks like. And as always, be sure to check out investormore.com for more information on rental properties, real estate agents, and flipping, of course. So this house was for sale at an auction, but it had a tenant in place. And she had a 10-year lease on the house, which scared off pretty much everyone else from buying it. That's why I got it so cheap. We ended up haggling back and forth, worked out a cash for keys agreement. Took a little while, and she just moved out. So here is the front office of the property. As you can see, it needs very little work. We might do some paint, might need a little carpet upstairs, some touch up here and there, but it's a 5,500 square foot home, all finished, quite a few upgraded features. She left the kitchen appliances and everything here. Of course, it's got the granite counters. The nice stove. All the light fixtures are here. Here's the living room with the tall vaulted ceilings, fireplace, little overlook upstairs. And then over here, there's the laundry room. And a 3-car garage. With openers and everything. Oh, there's my assistant, Nikki. Downstairs is finished. She had a kind of a mother-in-law suite down here. So it has almost a full kitchen down here with granite counters. No appliances though, just a sink. So there's room for a little fridge, a little dishwasher, and a stove even. We may or may not put those in. I think we probably will. We're gonna make this one pretty nice. Just a little storage room there. Kind of a cool room under the stairs. Kind of like a hidden bookshelf type of thing. I like stuff like that. Here's the family room down here. This is all made for speakers here, entertainment center, so I think we'll get some speakers put in, make it look finished. Cool how they did this tiered window well with the big windows. Made it a lot lighter down here. And here's the other bathroom. Shower. I said everything's in pretty good shape. Bedroom. Big window well is there. Closet. There's some more storage in that door. Furnace and hot water heater are through there. They're all there. All in good shape. And we'll go upstairs now. All right.
Okay.
Head upstairs. We're getting it rekeyed right now as we speak. All right, so it's got 4 bedrooms up here. We're probably gonna paint everything up here. Purple, pink. Rooms need some work. The carpet, we're gonna replace all this. It's older, needs stretched, but it's got some stains in other rooms as well. Here's one of the baths. Has 3 bathrooms upstairs. Another bedroom here. They all have vaulted ceilings, which is nice. Makes it feel much bigger. Lots of windows in this house. There's a few that might have broken seals. I don't know if you can tell. So we might have to spend a little money on those, but not much. There's another bathroom. There. Toilet. Another sink here for this bedroom. Big closet. And here's the pink room. As you can see, this carpet has seen better days, but compared to most of my flips, I am not complaining. All right, master bedroom here. Another fireplace. It's got a balcony right here, which there's a big wasp nest out there, so I'm not going to go outside. But there's the mountains right there, so nice little view of the mountains over the other trees and houses. Go to the master bathroom. Master shower. Tub. Sinks, vanities. Here's the closet. Got one closet right there, and then another closet right there, kind of connected. So I'm pretty excited to get this one vacant, get started on it. Okay, so you can see what the house looked like after she moved out. That was a huge relief, an amazing accomplishment getting her out, because that was the biggest part of this deal. But there's still so much more risk involved with buying a property like this. I use private money to finance it, so we had a lot of financing costs. Every month I own the property, those are adding up. Even though we're collecting some rent, there's no way it covered all those costs. We're paying property taxes, we're paying insurance, all while holding this house. So we're losing money every month. And this whole project took 15 months to complete. So that's why there's so many costs with financing, carrying, then we have to pay selling costs to the agent because it's an $800,000 sale. There's a lot of different costs that add up. So time is of the essence. So we went into the property, fixed it up, and what we thought was a good remodel. However, we're usually doing low-end remodels, starter homes, things like that, and this was a higher-end house. We put the property on the market. It actually didn't sell for a while, didn't have any showings, and our feedback was very good. People thought it needed to be in better shape. So we actually sent some of our guys back to the house after we fixed it up, restained some of the trim, fixed some of the windows that had broken seals, really made the house super nice. After that, we put it back on the market, and it sold at that point for $802,000. But it's definitely a learning experience, seeing how much more high-end buyers expect than low-end buyers. Totally different game. Takes much longer to sell houses in that price range. But the nice thing was the buyers were cash that we ended up doing. So we didn't have to worry about a loan, appraisal, any of that thing. And we also kind of expected the house to sell for around $850. It ended up selling for $802. So still made a good deal of money, but it was less than we thought. And the only reason I would have done this deal is because there was so much room in it, and so much room for profit, for unknowns, for different things that can happen. And you have to be really careful in the high end, because a 20% drop in price, a 10% drop in price can eat all your profits if you don't have just a huge amount of room padded into the deal. And one reason why we don't do more of these high-end flips is because you need so much room to make a good profit, and it's just almost impossible to find houses that have that much room in them. And this was just a complete albatross because of the situation with the tenant. It would have been snapped up at a much higher price if it was vacant. So like I said, we dealt with the tenant, got through that situation, but it was kind of scary. A few times she threatened to file harassment against me because I called her on the phone twice. She had different realtors calling me and threatening me. It was just a crazy situation, but we dealt with it, got through it, and ended up making a good amount of money on the deal. So now we'll show you exactly what the house looks like after we fix it up. almost complete. If you see the truck in the driveway, that's a refrigerator repairman. We're trying to fix a fridge that was not working, so we don't have to buy a new one since they're about $7 grand for a new fridge. But this house otherwise is pretty much done. We're gonna be listing it this week. And before we take a look at it, make sure you check out investormore.com for information on my flips, rentals, becoming an agent. And of course, we've got some free ebooks and different goodies if you sign up on the site. So I bought this property for $535,000 almost a year ago, not quite a year ago. It was occupied by a tenant. We got her out, and we had to make a few repairs to it, and we will be listing it in the $850 range, I believe. So we spent under $20,000 on the rehab. I'll show you the house here. And here's the formal living room right here. We touched up the paint, cleaned the carpets here. Didn't have to do a whole lot. Here's the dining room. Over there's the kitchen. Our living room is right here. We'll go upstairs first. Up here is where we spent the most money. We put new carpet in. This is pretty high-end, really soft, nice carpet. I know you can't feel it, but even with shoes on, it's super soft. A little bit of paint touch-up up here, not a ton. Mostly just cleaned up the place in the bathrooms. Here's a Jack and Jill bathroom for this bedroom here. Go back, there's 4 bedrooms up, then 1 more in the basement. So here's the 3rd kind of secondary bedroom up here with its own bath. Then we'll head over to the master. Nice overlook into the living room right here. Here's the master bedroom. Pretty much repainted this room, but it's got the fireplace. Had to do some touch up there. Has a nice balcony where you can kind of see the mountains if it wasn't so cloudy and hazy today. Restain that deck. Here's the master bath, the shower, the big tub, and vanity sinks. Here's the closet. Kind of got a his and her section, or as most guys know, a hers and hers section. All right, we'll head downstairs to the basement. All right, so down here we spent some more money too. Put all new appliances in the bar. There were no appliances down here. We got a pretty nice see-through fridge, dishwasher, stovetop, microwave, and that is a TV we put in that will swivel out however you want. Back here, if you saw the before video, is kind of the little secret passageway that goes through. And if you see this, it's got a bookshelf. That's kind of cool. Here's the family room. We put all new speakers in. So those are just holes in the wall before. We had a professional entertainment company come in, put in all new speakers, wire it for surround sound. Here's the bathroom. Didn't do a whole lot in here. And the last bedroom right here. Pretty much put a light in. That was it. It didn't have a light before. And yeah, so we didn't have to spend a whole lot of money. Most of it was some carpet, some paint, appliances, speaker system. All right, so now you can see what the house looked like after we fixed it up. Again, we pulled it off the market after that, did even more repairs, and then put it back in the market. I wasn't shooting a ton of videos or doing these complete before and after videos at that time, so I don't have an after video of it, unfortunately. But you can kind of get an idea of what it looked like. Now we're going to go over the numbers and show you how we made our money, what all the costs were, because those just add up like crazy on a property like this. So like I said, we bought it for $535,000, $339,000. That's after we paid the buyer's premium, which Hubzu has on most of their properties. Our selling price was $802,000. So our gross profit was $266,000 before any expenses, but of course that means nothing. We want to know what the real profit was. Repairs, we really didn't spend much on repairs, and these numbers aren't exact but approximate because it's been so long. Paint $4,500, flooring $10,000. We had to repair the fridge. It was a Sub-Zero, really expensive fridge. Found a guy who could repair it for $1,000. Put in the sound system in the basement. Had to reglaze, redo some of the windows. Added a TV, some appliances, and then just miscellaneous costs like restaining some of the things. Random repairs we made here and there. So we spent about $28,000 or so. Really one of the smallest costs on this deal. But if you look at the financing costs, that was a big one. So my loan was private money for $535,000. Bought the house 11/30/2015, sold it 2/28/2017. So we had it like 15 months, as I said. And our payments over that time added up to $66,000, almost $67,000, because I'm paying, I think it was 11% interest, and then we had to pay 2 points too, which is another $10,000. So my total financing costs were $77,570. So that was a lot. Could I have paid cash? I don't want to ever put that much cash into one property. It is much more useful doing multiple flips. So we were still doing a lot of flips at the time while this was happening. So sure, if I paid cash for it, we'd have less of these costs, but I would have made a lot less money in the long run because I couldn't have done, a bunch of other flips at the same time. It would have all been sunk into this property. Lease costs. So this is where it comes into getting her out. I spent around $5,000 on lawyers. I talked to some lawyers first about the situation. We wanted to see if the lease was valid because it was a 10-year lease. It actually went to court. The Boulder County courts upheld the lease as legal, even though it was with a relative, even though it was with, not market rent, even though it was a 10-year lease, which is supposedly not valid. All kinds of reasons why the lease should not be valid. The court still held it up. My lawyer basically said, yeah, if the judge doesn't like, who's in court, they can rule anyway. You have no guarantees. And they probably did not like the bank, who was Aquin, which is understandable, and they ruled against him. So they said since it was ruled that way in court, it was almost impossible to fight the lease. We're better off trying to come up with a negotiation with the tenant. So, like I said, we did do that, but we spent money on some lawyers. I actually went to different lawyers who were more experienced in this matter. And like I said, I ended up paying for a lawyer to help her negotiate because she didn't have money to negotiate with a lawyer and she didn't trust me. So got that done, agreed to $20,000 cash for keys, even though I think her first time she said she wanted $100,000 to move out. It was kind of crazy, but got that negotiated down. Then when she moved out, we had to pay her deposit back. And the whole time we collected about $13,000 in rent. So the rent did not cover all these costs by any means, or any of the financing costs by any means, but it helped pay a little bit of the costs. So those were our total lease costs. Carrying costs, we're paying insurance, taxes, maintenance, HOA, the whole time we have the property. And actually, I forgot one now that I'm looking. We didn't have utilities on there. She was paying all the utilities while she lived there, but then we would have had utilities while we own the property and we're selling it. So there's probably a couple $1,000s more in costs here for utilities that you can add on to there. But those are the carrying costs. Selling costs, those were big too. Pay a commission to another agent to represent the buyer. We are agents. I have my own brokerage, so we don't have to pay that cost to list it, but we do have to pay it to somebody else. They asked for concessions. I can't even remember why, but when I looked up the MLS sheet, they had $3,000 in concessions for the buyer. Closing costs for title insurance, other fees, closing fees. So selling costs are very high too. And then we come down to
all the costs, repairs, financing, lease, carrying costs, selling costs, and then commission earned. So when I bought this, it was through Hubzu. They pay a commission when they sell these properties, so I did get a commission back. So my total costs on this property were $147,000, actually more like $150 once you add in the utilities to do this deal. Price, bought it for, selling price, gross profit, all my costs, and then the total profit probably around 117 in that range after all is said and done. So I think it was our highest profiting flip we've ever done, probably our highest risk flip we've ever done, by far the most expensive flip we've ever sold. Worked out great. It was a fun experience. Would I do it again? Probably, if the numbers were right, but things could have gone wrong in a number of ways. And I would say, our other highest selling flip is 400 and something, not even over 500,000. So that just blew away our highest other one by far. So definitely out of our comfort zone, but it was a cool experience, fun to do, and then fun to tell the story about it as well. All right, so that's all we've got for this video. Hope you guys liked it. Always give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions below, leave them. If I forgot any other numbers, let me know. And we'll have more videos coming up. Thanks for watching.